Alright, it's the first one, so... Man, he's got quite a few Hitman videos. Anyways, this one's quick. Gotta extend it to 8 minutes with my commentary, so let's get moving. Qxir.
Not a single other person is involved in the making of these videos. I do the research, I do the writing, I do the graphics, I do the audio processing, I do the editing, and I do the thumbnails.
Everything.
Part of this is because I'm very particular, probably due to some undiagnosed mental disorder. Once I have an idea of how something should look, I have a very hard time giving it away to some idiot to make it a reality.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel sometimes. So, bit of a aside, bit of a tangent, but this is the reason why you never see main channel videos. It's because I'm very particular of my editing style. I have to do everything. I don't have the money to even hire an editor, and I'm also lazy and I'm still grinding out streams. So, there's that. Maybe I should take a break someday, or like take a week-long break and actually do some editing. But until I can find someone that can basically do my entire editing style one-to-one, that shit ain't happening.
It's just not going to turn out how I envision it in my mind, and that's certainly also the case for Tan Yo Hui, a businessman who envisioned the death of a business rival. But unlike me, he did delegate this task to an idiot, and then this idiot delegated it to another idiot, and so on, until there were 5 idiot hitmen who were all unwilling to actually do the job. And then, disaster struck. In 2013 in China, real estate developer Tan Yo Hui had a shared property development with fellow businessman Wei Mao. The two got into a dispute about the joint venture, which led to Wei launching 2 civil lawsuits against Tan. Tan was worried a lengthy legal battle would disrupt his business and cost him a lot of money, and so decided to reach a settlement with Wei by killing him. Case closed. Seems like a stupid idea to murder someone who's suing you. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on you during the investigation, but maybe not if you get the right guy for the job. Unfortunately, Tan did not get the right guy for the job, and instead hired Shi Guanggan to kill Wei, offering the hitman 2 million Chinese yuan, about 300,000 in today's dollars. For whatever reason, Shi Guanggan was not overly eager to do this himself. Instead, he hired a second hitman, Mo Qianchang, to do the killing for him, offering him 1 million yuan to kill Wei. So he was keeping half the money for himself for Mo Qianchang to do all the work. For whatever reason, Mo Qianchang was not overly eager to do this himself. Instead, he hired a third hitman, Yang Kangsheng, to do the killing for him, offering him 270,000 yuan upfront to kill Wei, and a further 500,000 when the job was done. So he was getting 1 million and giving away 770,000 for Yang Kangsheng to do all the work. For whatever reason, Yang Kangsheng was not overly eager to do this himself. Instead,
I'm sensing a pattern
here. Fourth
here.
hitman, Yang Guosheng, to do the killing for him,
Another Yang,
offering him 200,000 yuan up front to kill Wei,
and
a further 500,000 when the job was done. So this guy was barely keeping any of the money for himself. Makes you wonder why he even bothered getting involved. He was giving all but 70,000 of his 770,000 to Yang Guosheng to do all the work. For whatever reason, Yang Guosheng was not overly eager to do this himself.
Really?
Instead, he hired a 5th hitman, Ling Xianqi, to do the killing for him, offering him 100,000 yuan to kill Wei. This Yang Guosheng fella's obviously a lot greedier than the others, only offering 1/7 of his pay to Ling Xianqi.
This feels like a freaking math problem. How much money is left, or some shit
to do all the work
like that.
For whatever reason, Ling Xianxi was not overly eager to do this himself. Actually, he had a pretty good reason. He was only getting 100,000 yuan to kill a person. Probably wasn't aware the guy who hired him was only making 70,000, but that guy sounds like a bigger idiot than all the rest, to be honest.
Good lord.
Or maybe the second biggest idiot, because wait until you hear this next part. Ling Qianxi didn't want to kill someone for 100,000, and by now the money had been whittled away so much there wasn't really really any left to subcontract another hitman. Instead, he hatched a plan that would make everyone happy. He contacted Wei Mao and asked to meet him in a coffee shop in Nanning City. By this point, nearly 6 months had passed since the original contract was taken.
6
Wei
months!
agreed to the meeting, and
How many
Lin
months?
Jianxi informed him he had been paid to kill him. What an idiot.
You've got to be I mean, props for being honest, I guess.
Ling told him he would instead allow Wei to simply fake his death, so that Wei would get to live and Ling would still get the money. Wei agreed to pose for photos bound and gagged, which Ling would then take to his boss, who would then take them to his boss, who would then... You get the idea. Clearly, Ling had neglected...
So, wait. Is this where Chinese telephone came from?
To put a great deal of thought into this plot, or really any at all. For Wei Mao to fake his death, he'd have to upend his whole life, forget about his lawsuit against Tan and the joint business he had with him, and obviously any other business he had. He'd have to give up everything. Why would he do any of that when he now knows who his hitman is and what he looks like, because he was a big stupid fucking idiot who told him all of this? Obviously, Wei Mao just went to the police. One after the other, the hitmen gave up their bosses until the police had all 5 hitmen and Tan Yo-hui in custody. Honestly, if I were the police, I don't think I would have uncovered this. I would have just assumed I was being led on a wild goose chase after, like, the 3rd hitman.
This is the real hitman. This goose is more threatening than those 5 buffoons that sold out that buffoon prime, I suppose.
In other words, I would have underestimated the depths of their stupidity. In 2016, the 6 men were on trial for conspiracy to commit murder. China has a terrifyingly high conviction rate, 99.9%.
Yeah, you're basically just dead. If you get caught, you're in China, you're dead to rights.
Now, in the US, federal prosecutors have a 99.6 conviction rate, so that's not a statement about China other than to say these guys were fucked. However, some evidence was excluded from court on the basis of police misconduct. Oh, what, did they hire a string of investigators too? Amazingly, all 6 men were acquitted. This was until prosecutors appealed the case, and in 2019, Tan Yo-hui was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. The hitman he hired, Shi Gangan, was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months. Hitman 2, Mo Qiangqing, that is, not the video game, was sentenced to 3 years. Hitman 3 and 4, Yang Kangsheng and Yang Guangsheng, were sentenced to 3 years and 3 months. Hitman 5, Ling Jianxi, was sentenced to 2 years and 7 months. Those seem like fairly light sentences given the intended crime, but...
You gotta remember, this is Chinese prison. This isn't nice prison.
Maybe the court was lenient in light of their idiocy. And that's the story of a man who hired...
I guess you could also count the fact that they didn't even kill anyone. It's just conspiracy.
Hired a hitman who hired a hitman who hired a hitman who hired a hitman who hired a hitman. If you like this video, I have many others for you to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm watching your videos. Anyways, this one. This all started because Wei wanted to launched 2 lawsuits against Tan. Wei actually lost both cases, meaning Tan did not even need to pay the hitman or get into prison if he simply waited for the court results. Also, in both lawsuits, Wei wasn't even suing Tan. He was suing a corporation he had disagreements with, where Tan was a board member. Wei had never even heard of Tan before the police investigation. Oh, hey, it's like, the thing. Palpatine wants Padme dead, but he doesn't want to do it himself, so he asks Count Dooku. Count Dooku doesn't want to do it himself, so he asks Jango Fett. And then Jango asks the shapeshifter, and the shapeshifter sends a robot, and then the robot says, "Let's go send the little bugs." So yeah, that's basically... Yeah, so that is literally just the the assassination scene in Attack of the Clones. Good job. Good job, Palpatine.